Hey guys! Okay, so in this week's video, I'm going to talk to you about beliefs. So, when we think about our ability, and in that moment when someone says to us, "Can you do that?" or we put ourselves forward for those challenges that we've been talking about, if we ask ourselves in that moment, "Can I do it?" and we're at the beginning of that journey, then the answer is likely to be no. And we might feel then that sense of dissonance, that sense of, "Oh, I can't do it." That imposter fear kicks in, that fixed mindset kicks in, and we tell ourselves, "I can't do this." And here's the thing, we're probably right. Tom Bilyeu, in one of the best videos I've seen ever, and certainly my favourite one of his, he talks about fear of failure, and he says, to the effect of, if you question your ability and you need someone else to tell you that you're capable of doing something, then you don't have that ability, not enough to demonstrate it, so it is unquestionable. And really, that's what he advocates aiming for. Be undeniable, he suggests. Be undeniable to yourself. And we know those things. I know those things that I'm that good at. And I know the things that I have to ask people, can I do that? And really, that's just highlighting where we are on that journey. That's not highlighting the limit of our abilities. That's only true, remember, when we're coming from a fixed view of our abilities. And it's not highlighting what's possible for us. It's just highlighting a reality of where we are right now. So when you have that belief, and this reminds me of the quote Henry Ford, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So when you have that belief, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," and then avoiding, because remember, that's the trick, that when you feel that way and you're going to end up feeling like an imposter and you have that high fear of failure, you're going to pull back. The pattern that happens is avoidance. And when we avoid, or we do those helpless behaviors, if you think about that first model I talked you through, we do those helpless behaviors, we're basically setting up a self-fulfilling prophecy where we don't do the thing, we don't put in the effort, we don't develop our skills and capabilities, because that's the trick. When we say to ourselves, "Yeah, I can't do that," if we can add "yet," "yeah, I can't do that yet, but here's how I'm going to work out how to do that." If we say to ourselves, "What skill is it that I would need?" and we break that down and we give ourselves the capacity to develop our abilities. And here's something really interesting. So when I've been looking at research for my paper, I found this seminal piece of research done by, so Carol Dweck is the mindset queen, and it was the seminal piece of research that she did, and they were looking at responses to setbacks, and there was these two patterns that were identified in research around that time, and one was a helpless response. You might have heard of that in terms of learned helplessness. So that's when people get very paralyzed. When they're faced with challenges, they actually get demotivated. When they have setbacks, they get demotivated and end up withdrawing effort and doing unuseful things. And we've talked about that in terms of those models, and we've talked about that in terms of fixed mindset before. So that's really that helpless response. So as challenges come, people get less and less and less confident and less able to keep moving forwards, because they feel as though it's highlighting the limit of their abilities. But this is the amazing thing. The kids, because it was kids in the study with a growth mindset, they didn't even see their setbacks as setbacks. They just saw them as part of the process, and they actually enjoyed the challenge. And so there's a fundamental difference. That's called a mastery response, where when we're faced with that challenge, that setback, we ask ourselves that all-important question: what can I do? So there'll always be 5,000 billion things that we can't do, and there'll be a truth. If we think we can't, well, we probably can't. Or if we're asking other people, it's not evident enough to ourselves or to other people that we can. And what we really need to do then is move ourselves forward, is move our confidence, is move our belief forwards by doing, because doing is the key. Because when we do the thing, because we don't have to believe we can do it. That's the funny thing about belief. I remember talking at the University of Nottingham careers event, And I sat there and I said to them, look, you don't have to believe you can do it. You just have to do it. Because when we do the thing, in spite of disbelief, in spite of worry, in spite of that fixed sense of self that we have, we're actually demonstrating beyond any doubt that we can. And when we keep moving forwards, we develop our abilities. And when we do that, then we have the capacity to be everything that we want to be. So forward action, keep moving, keep developing, and keep knowing that whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. You're just looking at it on a different time frame. So right now you might not be able to do it, but how can you move yourself along that time frame to the point where you can? All right, guys, I hope that was useful for you. And I absolutely want to hear your comments. I want to hear your feedback. I really want to know, actually. I was talking about this with my brother. So when you're consuming these videos, what time would you like this actually to be that you would see these videos? You know, what kind of way do you fit them into your life? How do you relate to them? That would mean a lot to me because I want to know how to best create them for you. And also, what is it in this video that's really hit home for you? Is it about beliefs? Is it about change your beliefs, or knowing that actually the belief doesn't have to stop you? Is it moving into that growth mindset whereby you see yourself as being capable of developing yourself through to grow through and beyond challenges? Or is it something else? I would love to hear from you. And as always, if you got a lot out of this and you haven't already, please subscribe to the Grow and Beyond channel. Like the video because it really helps, and make sure you share it with someone else who would get a lot out of this. All right, guys, until the next one.